Hey everybody, it's me, Timmy Flyers guy. I want to do another video, another Flyers related video. And in this video, it got me thinking. And I'm going to talk about the Broad Street Bullies in this episode. For those of you who don't know, the Broad Street Bullies were a team of tough players, tough, gritty players back in 1973, 1974. With that regime, the Philadelphia Flyers won 2 Stanley Cups, one in 1974 and one in 1975. Which got me to thinking, during the 70s, were the Broad Street Bullies hockey's version of counterculture? In a way, I would say yes. In a way, there is a lot of reasons why the Broad Street Bullies can be considered counterculture to the NHL. And I have facts to back up what I'm talking about. The NHL, many years before the Flyers entered the league, the NHL seemed like a very clean-cut organization with very clean-cut teams, such as the New York Rangers, the Toronto Maple Leafs, the Chicago Blackhawks, the Detroit Red Wings, the New York Rangers, and the Boston Bruins. But once the Flyers came along, things started to change. And hockey became a different sport because of the Broad Street Bullies. And I agree that I have to say that, the Broad Street Bullies were hockey's version of counterculture. Because the way the NHL was, the Broad Street Bullies, when the Flyers came into the league, they probably weren't a tough team at the beginning. But in 73-74, the Philadelphia Flyers adopted this counterculture, which was a big counter to the basic culture of the NHL before expansion teams were brought in. So in a way, counterculture has helped the NHL. Most people have complained about it back in 1973-74. The Broad Street Bullies were a hated regime of hockey players from all the other fan bases around the league. People couldn't stand us. They hated us. And in a way, the Broad Street Bullies were kind of like the ECW of the NHL. They brought this extreme type of hockey into the league. And in a way, I say that the Broad Street Bullies were the NHL's version, or hockey's version, of counterculture. Or in this case, hockey counterculture. And just like many countercultures, it comes and it goes. And as the years went by, things changed. And that type of counterculture was frowned upon by the league later. Because nowadays you don't see many fights in the NHL. You don't see many fights, and the league has cracked down on certain infractions on the ice as well. But it's good to have counterculture in all aspects of life. Because if it wasn't for the Philadelphia Flyers and the Broad Street Bullies, the NHL wouldn't be as successful as it was during that time. The Flyers, in a way, saved the NHL. The Flyers saved the NHL from the same old boring style of hockey. And that's why the counterculture of the Broad Street Bullies was so important in the NHL because it had a lot of people talking about it. Even people that hated the Philadelphia Flyers. A lot of fan bases even. Even though you loved the Broad Street Bullies and you hated them, you couldn't stop talking about them. It was this obsession with them, good or bad, that the people had with the Broad Street Bullies. So I applaud Ed Snyder for introducing counterculture in the sport of hockey. And in a way, yes, the Broad Street Bullies are counterculture. And with that counterculture, made the NHL much better. The ratings went up, and people couldn't get enough of the Broad Street Bullies. And this is why counterculture in sports can be important. The NBA had its own version of counterculture. And Dennis Rodman, a very unorthodox basketball player, changed the game with his British style of play, his no-nonsense attitude, and his cockiness. The problematic counterculture in sports. We've got guys like the Broad Street Bullies, guys like Dennis Rodman, guys like John McEnroe. They're versions of sports, of counterculture in sports. The bad boy, the guy who plays by his own rules. That's what counterculture is all about. And we look back on those years, one of the greatest years of counterculture in sports and counterculture in the sport of hockey. So in a way, the Broad Street Bullies deserve all the respect they can get, all the respect for introducing a new style of play and a new style of counterculture in the sport of hockey. So if you guys agree with me, that's fine. If you don't agree with me, that's also fine. But in my mind, I have to say that the Broad Street Bullies are certainly counterculture. Counterculture is an important thing in the world because we need more of that. You see, sometimes in life, we don't like doing the same thing over and over again. Sometimes we like to be spontaneous. Counterculture is spontaneous. It's new. It's different. And it's something that we yearn for in our daily lives. And that's all I have to say about that. Well, I wanted to talk about that because it's an important subject that I just wanted to talk about and I wanted to discuss with each and every one of you. If you guys have any ideas of counterculture in sports, please leave a comment below on this video to let me know what you think. To let me know what else you think would be counterculture in sports. Guys, thank you for joining me. Have a great day, and let's go Flyers. I cannot wait for next season. Cannot wait for next season. Till next time, everyone. Till next time.